Thank you so much for having me here. It's absolutely a pleasure to be there in a room full of communicators. I've had a very, full of travels. Today has been a busy day, but I think I'll gain some energy from this room. When Karan invited me to speak here, frankly, I didn't know what to tell, because communicators in a room full of communication professionals, leaders from the PR agencies, I don't think I'm the best person to talk about trends. What I can do is to talk about reflections. And frankly, for the last 1.5 years, have been very interesting, because we've been reflecting on, personally me, reflecting on my career of 29 years, how I started, where I am, how things have changed. And I love, I can see some of my colleagues and counterparts, some of my seniors, Ashwini being one of them. When I started my career, he was one of my mentors, and it's fantastic to see today when we discuss a lot of stuff and how things have changed. So I'm just going to run past a few reflections. I hope that this will be relatable and you can make some sense out of it. And I'm sure all of us share similar feelings in the world that we are living today. I hope I'm able to do this. What is this? Today, we're in a world where we only hear one side of the story. Imagine how dangerous it could be if we just see a part of this. Maybe this. The story here is very different than how this comes up. And today is a world where we all have strong views. Everybody is a journalist. Even children have very, very strong views. I have debates with my young daughter almost every day. The role of the communicator today is to bring the entire context in place. I've written some notes here. I'm going to read that out. A partial truth can become a very, very powerful lie. What we omit, what we do not write in a briefing book, can be equally powerful. In fact, sometimes it can be more powerful than what we say. That is why, as communicators, we're not just making briefing books or press releases. We have to spend time with our speakers, with our spokesperson. We have to be their trusted advisors. We have to have a seat on the table. And if we don't have that seat, this is what's going to happen. While we all have our own views, which could be one-sided, our responsibility is to bring the entire story. And let me give you an example here. I work for a company which is into life sciences, health, and food. So when the Ukraine-Russia war happened, the company had to take a position. We have a huge number of employees in Russia as well as in Ukraine. It was extremely difficult to take one side. And when there was an outburst of emotions from both the sides, particularly from Ukraine, and that's when the communications and the public affairs team got together. And our recommendation was to have a point of view, but we cannot pull out from a market just like that. We had a lot of brands who pulled out, whether it was beverages or machinery or automobiles, but being a food company or a medicine company or pharma company, we could not just pull out. We had to take a position that we will continue to be in Russia, because we cannot let the farmers not get the seeds or the people not get their medicines. So one side of the story would have been disastrous. We had to manage emotions of the employees as well as externally explain. So that's the world we are in, and that's just an example. Every day, all of us go through it. And more. In the future, I'm expecting this happening more and more. When we talk India, everybody has a different point of view about India. And we recently went through what We all had to explain our positions, our voice, yet be neutral, yet be very holistic when we told our story from India. The next one is a very interesting one. Maybe I should ask the question to the audience here. We all have gone through the Edelman Trust Barometer where we talk about trust. And trust, today is a trust deficit world. We don't trust enough the media, the government. It's dwindling. Even our family members, even our relatives. Who do we trust? Can I have a show of hands just calling out who do you trust the most in your environment? Now don't tell me your boss because that's not true. Yes. Perfect. Great. One more? Yes? Parents. Fantastic. Maybe we'll go with one more. Sorry? People who do you in your circle. Okay, maybe leaders or okay. According to me, I think the most trusted today is our phone. It's the most trusted companion. We spend maximum number of hours. We give all our secrets, all our dark secrets are here. We accept all the Facebooks, Metas, Snapchats, all their guidelines without even reading. That's which is most trusted companion today. At least it is true for me, it is true for my daughter. We're sitting in the same room and talking to each other or playing a game on the phone. And that's going to continue, it's not going to go away. And as communicators, we understand this very well, that we need to be inside in that little device. And that's why we all have digital first approaches. However, when we've traded instinct for instant today, it is very, very important for us as communicators to make the choice, informed choice, as parents, as communicators, as leaders, to look beyond the phone. And I think in the future, that's what is going to be the differentiating factor. We talked about CSR. You can't do a CSR strategy through an AI-generated campaign or a strategy thing. You have to be out there in the field to understand emotions, notions, communities. So that's another thing that I think a lot of time I reflect a lot on this. My second last. Seeing is no longer believing. I want to play this video. I'm not sure if you can hear it.
6 fingers.
Can we have some volume here?
Some people say we're just AI created via. To prompts.
If I'm generated from a prompt, how come I don't have 6 fingers?
Some people say we're just AI created via some simple prompts. Thoughts?
If I'm just a prompt, mine clearly said add anxiety and a caffeine addiction.
Are we all just computer generated NPCs created by our prompt engineering overlords?
No. If that's the case, they skimped on the tokens for me.
Yeah.
Are we real or AI?
I mean, I really can't tell the difference, can you?
Yeah, if you can't tell either, then we're so cooked. Yeah.
In the age of deepfakes, even proof needs proof. Recently, we had a situation where there was one video out there where a global CEO was saying something which he never said. Imagine that coming out in the public domain and the type of crisis it could have created. Thankfully, the monitoring system worked very well and it was caught at the right time. Imagine we're all sitting in a situation, in a time bomb, I must say, when it comes to this. Imagine some of these videos or fake information being out about your company and dealing with the situation. And that's exactly where we are. We're all going to deal with this in the future. And as communicators, that is why we need to be engaged, having our friends or influencers who will be needed will be around when we need them. That's why our agency partners, that's why our stakeholders, the engagement with them is so critical. My last thing, while all this is going on, and we're looking a lot at the machines, one thing which will not change is being human. You know, when these days we have companies go through a lot of restructuring and transformation. And sometimes we have to let go of people. And one thing which I've learned in my 29 years, maybe the hard way sometimes, is how people feel. And transformation is a time where we as communicators have a role to play. How we exit people, how we let them go, the feeling, the narration, the fairness is so, so, so important. And as communicators, these are little nuances we need to keep in mind. Everything else will change, but emotions will not. The future will always belong to people who are emotionally fluent. With that, thank you very much.